said,
Get it by myself, cause ain't nobody doing nothing. Won't be broke no more. No more, no more, no more. Won't be broke no more.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Vaughn, and I'm back with another video, exclusive video. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Let's get into the video. I don't want to talk too much. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, smack that like button. Y'all already seen the title. Y'all already know what we speaking on. Let's get it. So we got good news. Vicky had found her dad. Finally.
like 30-something years, and then my mom finally told me the whole name and the city he came from, and something told me, let me just look on Facebook while she's on the speakerphone. And I found him in 10 minutes. Literally 10 minutes. He was the only guy in the list with the name and the place where he was from.
So, y'all know I've been trying to get this done for her birthday. So, I asked her, I said, babe, we got to do ancestry. But the only thing is, everybody been telling me we have to know something. So, if you could just try to ask your mom, like, a little information. So we could go off something. So, that's what she did.
Yeah, so in the past, I used to ask her, like, oh, what's his name? And she used to be like, oh, don't worry. You know, just, she didn't want to break my heart because she didn't really know what they were really about. They were young. So she told me they, like, worked together when they were young on this big job project. But they all came from different cities and different places of the world. And then when the job was done, then everybody left. So, you know, they had their thing, and then the job was done. She left. She felt weird. She got went to the doctor, got a pregnancy test. Well, she went to the doctor, and they said, do you know you're pregnant? And that's when she found out she was pregnant. But she didn't have his contact information. She only had what she could remember on the little conversations they had when they were there. So she just remembered to always remember his last name, because she had a feeling she was pregnant, but you know, she didn't know what he had back home or anything like that, because it wasn't like permanent. She remembered his name, but she didn't have any of his information, like phone number or anything like that. So then I would ask her, she would give me the name here and there, but I didn't know if it was the real name or she was just saying stuff. I don't know.
So she called her mom, and she kind of like talked to her mom for
like,
a little bit.
Went around the bush, like, yeah, ma, you know, I want to do this ancestry thing. And what's with my mom is she was abandoned when she was a little kid. She was an orphan. So she doesn't know her mother or her father, and the last name she has is from the adopted lady that adopted her, and it was kind of different because her mom, which is my grandma, her mom, she had 11 kids, and she gave them all away. And then she tried to kill my mom. So she has like a slash around her neck. So this older lady was walking past, and she was like, no, don't do that. I'll take care of this baby. Don't worry, this and this and that. So that lady saved my mom and just took my mom into her care. And that's how my mom has her last name, and doesn't have her original mother's last name. So she doesn't know anything about her real mom, her real dad, and stuff like that. So when the lady who adopted her died, her family did not like my mom. So what they did was they kind of scared her and ran her out the house. So at that time, she was like 12 going to 13, and she was basically in the street. So, and she was kind of hard-headed. So she was like, whatever, I'm leaving. So she took off. I kind of pulled the ancestry, like, okay, Ma, I want to help look for any family members you guys got. And I was like, oh, well, I want to do mine too, but it asked me for his father's name. And then I asked her, and she kind of was going around the bush, and I asked her again, and I was like, I know she hears me asking what my dad's name is. And then I asked her again, and then she finally was like, okay, yeah, his name is this. I think I try to remember his last name is this. And I was like, you know what, let me search it up. And it was one guy, and it caught my eye because one of the pictures when he was younger looks like Savi.
Let me show it right here.
Yeah, so it looks like Savi. He got the hair and the little lips and like the chin and the light skin. So.
And then we showed Sabi, and I was like, oh my gosh, he looks like twins.
Yeah. And then there was another younger kid that I guess is my cousin, and that boy looks like Savi too, like the eyebrows and the no little lips and everything. I showed Viney another picture, and it was like a lady, and he was like freaking out, like, that lady looks just like you. You guys look like twins. Y'all resemble each other. And I'm like, okay, this is too much. Let me ask my mom. So she was still on the phone, and I'm telling her, and she's listening to this, and she's like, yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't think so. You think so? I was like, you know what? It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm going to drive all the way to your house, and I'm going to show you this picture. And she's like, no, just show me tomorrow. I'm like, I can't. Like, I have to show you. I need to know right now because the resemblance is too much. And I can't go to sleep. I drove all the way over there, and my mom this whole time, she was like, I'm thinking you're going to show me a picture of some guy that I don't even know, and then I'm going to have to break your, tell you, and I don't want to break your heart. Like, I don't know who this guy is, and she thinks I'm going to bring some random picture to her. So I come, and I'm like, all right, Ma, just let me know now. Just let me know now. As soon as I showed her the picture, she was like, that's him. Well, she said, that's his ass right there. That's what she said. And I was like, what? She's like, that's him. That's your daddy. That's your papa. And I was like, for real? No, like, for real, for real. She's like, no, that's his ass right there. That's him. And she said his name. And I was like, never in a million years, never. And then she was like, yup, that's him. So I left, and I came straight home. By that time, it was like almost midnight. So now I'm doing this full investigation. I'm writing him. I'm adding him. He got another page that kind of looks like his name, but it's an older page. So I'm adding that. I'm adding these women that are saying like, oh, my brother, I love you. And oh, my cousin. And oh, my uncle. And I'm like adding all these people. By the time I was done, it was 3 a.m. I'm like, okay, no one's writing me. I'm like, and I need to know, like, I need to at least know how they're gonna accept it, because on Facebook, the friend request has to go through first before the message can be seen. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hit up their spouses. So I hit this young lady up, and I'm like, okay, well, her boyfriend says that he studied English. Now, their origin is from Mexico. So everything on their thing was Spanish. So the boyfriend of this young lady says that he studied English. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to spit everything I have to do and say in English. And I'm going to try to translate it. And I'm going to pray that he can send it to her and tap her on the shoulder and be like, hey, check your messages. I write her first, nothing. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just jump this loop and I'm going to write him. So I wrote him. Then as soon as I finished writing him, she wrote me back. But now it's like 3, almost 4 a.m. So she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just got your message. And then he writes me like, oh, I just told her right now to write you. So she should be writing you soon. So they're both probably together, like, writing me. And then she's like, I'm going to call you first thing in the morning. I'm like, okay, at least I got something. But I wanted to ask her like a billion questions. Like, who are you? Am I your cousin? Because I told her, I think I'm your cousin. You know, I wanted to ask her all this stuff. Like, who's alive? Is anyone alive? Like, what's going on? So I had to just go to sleep on that. And then I woke up and I hear my phone going off. I'm ignoring it. And then I'm like, oh, wait, they said they're going to call me. So I answer the phone and it's her. So I didn't have time to breathe, to think, to do nothing. I just came off of my sleep and answered this phone call. And It was from Mexico, and I never had that call. I'm like, this is her. So I answer it. She's like, oh my God, we've been looking for you for years. And I was like, what? And I was like, I'm explaining, like, she's like, how did you find us? So I'm telling her what happened. I said, oh, so are you related to this man? And I said his name. And then she was like, yes, that's my father. And then I was like, what? And I was like, wait, so you're not my cousin? She's like, no, I'm your sister. And I was like, what? So I'm like, oh my God. So she was my younger sister.
Vicky's the oldest.
So I'm the oldest. So I was the firstborn. So she tells me in their story that when they separated from work, they lost contact, but he had a feeling she was pregnant. And the brother, he had a brother that was working there too. And the brother went up to my mom, and my mom said the same story, that the brother was like, look, if you can't take care of the baby, my mom can take care of the baby. And she, not wealthy, but she's able to support a baby. And she'll be in good hands, you know? And my mom is the type of mom, like, no matter what she's going through, no matter what, she can never leave her kids behind. Like, no matter what the sacrifices is, she will keep her kids. She cannot abandon them, especially coming from that abandonment background. So she's like, oh, no, you know, and she took off. After my mom had me, she was best friends with one of the ladies who worked over there, and they were still over there. So my mom sends a picture with my name. So it's just a solid baby picture with my name in the background, in the back of the picture. And she sends it to her friend, which was the boss's wife of the job site. So the lady must have showed that picture to my dad, and she said that I look just like him, which is crazy because I kind of don't look like my mom. I look like, I'm light skinned. My mom's dark skinned.
More like the dad's sister.
The dad's sister.
She looked more like her dad's sister, like twins, identical.
So then they had that in their mind. So as soon as he had his kids, he got married and his kids grew up. And they're telling me that ever since, you know, they were old enough to understand, he always used to tell them, look for her. I have a daughter out there. I need you guys to help me look for her. And the grandpa, which is his dad, was like, I want to meet her. I want to meet her. Like, they really were actually really looking for me. So in my Facebook page, it's under, you know, Vicky Braids. But I've never put my real full name, and that's what they were looking for, was my full name. She's like, unfortunately, our grandpa wanted to meet you so bad, but he recently passed away. But my grandma's still alive, and she wants to meet you, and my father's alive, and he really wants to meet you. And which is crazy because I come from, which is only my mom. She has no family. So it's just my mom, and my mom had 3 kids, which is us, and then we're making the family, which we're having our babies, and we're making our own family from scratch. So now she's telling me I have brothers, I have sisters, I have cousins, I have uncles, I have aunties, I have a grandma. So I'm just ecstatic. Unfortunately, they said they were gonna call me back, but they never gave me a time. So I go to work, and I'm really bad with answering messages. Like, I have so many messages, and sometimes I read them, but I don't write back right away. And I actually reply in my mind, but I don't reply in person. So I feel real bad, and I suck at responding and replying and all that stuff, and answering calls, and I just suck at that. So I didn't know that he called one of his sons, which would be my brother, and they live an hour away from each other. He had him drive an hour and had all the brothers and sisters that were in Mexico meet so they can FaceTime me, and they called me 6 times. And I was with a client braiding hair, and my phone was on silent. I was talking about the story to my client, and I'm like, oh my God, I found my dad. And we're talking and time's running, and by the time I look at my phone, it's 4 o'clock. And I missed all these phone calls. So now I'm writing him, like, I'm so sorry, didn't know you guys called. He said, that's okay, I'm actually at work. I'm back at work. I'm going to call you when I leave work if that's okay. I'm like, yeah, perfect. Hours going by, and I'm like getting anxiety, and my heart's pumping, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to react to? He calls. He's asking me questions. And like, how did I find him? And they've been looking for me, and they've been looking for this specific name, and they could never find it. And then he's like, how's your family? Do you have a family? Like, I know you said you had kids. Where are they? Are you married? Are you not? So I'm like, yeah, I'm married, you know, and I introduced him, Vani. And then he got to meet him, and he was like, hi. And
he said, Espanol? I said, no.
No, poquito.
No,
poquito. It was kind of crazy. He tells me, so the lady I've been talking to, which I found out was my sister, she's the youngest. She's actually a lawyer. I have another brother, he's an engineer. The other brother under me just graduated from medical science, and now he's a doctor. And they're like, so what do you do? And I'm like, I braid hair. Like, YouTube. And we do videos. And then I'm like, I try to make it cool, you know. I was like, yeah, so, you know, I'm like my own boss, and I can take vacation when I want.
I can sleep in on one.
I can do, you know, take the kids wherever I want. And, you know, we go to all the kids' events. You know, we never miss their events. You know, because I can do what I want at work because I'm my own boss. So I try to make it cool. And they were like, oh, wow. I'm like, okay. Next question. So.
And then the grandma, she got to meet her grandma.
The grandma, she was like, you're so beautiful. So when are you coming? And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, and they're trying to, she's 83 years old. And she looks brand new. She's like, when are you coming? And then they're like, no, you know, she's not in Mexico. She's somewhere real far. You know, they're trying to break it down to her lightly. Like, you know, it doesn't really work like that. And she's like, okay. So then they're talking. She's like, oh, you got kids? And I'm like, yeah, tell me about my kids. And then she's like, so when are you coming? And I'm like, I don't know. And they're just laughing like, no, grandma, it don't work. Yeah, she's coming, but, you know, let take some time. So.
What did he show you? Was he showing you the house?
Yeah, so they own, he owns, like a small restaurant business, and they sell, like, a whole bunch of food. I was trying to look at the food. I don't know if it was, like, tacos or, it looked good. It was a whole bunch of pictures of different kind of food, and he's like, yeah, I own this is where I work, and then he was like, he turned the corner, and he's like, this is where I live, and I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, this is your grandma, and I was like, what? Everything's just, like, right there, 5 minutes away. I'm like, okay. There was a lady with him, and at first she said something, the connection was kind of bad. I thought she said that she was, like, his sister-in-law. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to, like, the wife's side of the family or something like that. And I don't really know them, so I don't know how they feel about all that. And then I'm like, oh, so I'm kind of, like, thinking, how do I ask her, who is she? Without saying, who are you? So I'm like, oh, okay, so you said you were his sister? And she's like, yeah. She's like, yes, I'm your auntie. She's like, I'm your auntie and this is my brother. And I was like, oh, so how many of you guys are there? She said that he has 2 sisters and 2 brothers, I think. One of the brothers are in California.
Yeah, one in Cali.
So that would be my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And then another person lives somewhere. I don't know. It was just so much information.
It was Cali. Let's go. And I forgot where was the other one. It was honest. One of them was in Chicago for what?
Oh, I think a cousin was in Chicago for something, a congressional event. I don't know. It was like a big event that sounded fancy, and I was like, oh, okay.
Good family.
Yeah, they all went to school. I was
All
like,
school,
dang.
good family,
Should've
and
went over there.
they all got strong genes because she look like all of her
All of
aunties.
them. It's crazy.
She been happy since she met her father.
Yeah, I was smiling
Different
like
glow.
crazy.
Did her
It's
hair,
so
don't do her hair
crazy.
for
I
me.
did my hair.
Yeah, I mean, she don't be
Yes.
doing it to me. Hey, babe, steak face. I'm like, but she got a different glow. It's her. She beautiful. She happy, and that's what we want.
That's crazy. I'm still shocked.
And that's what we talked about, y'all. We said we're going to try to get Vicky this for New Year's. And she's still
She's
talking
so
to her little
beautiful.
sister, both of them
Oh,
emotional.
yeah.
I think the biggest thing is when they see each other in person. Right now it's through phone and stuff like that, so it's really not like strong until they meet each other, and then that's when you're going to see the tears flowing. And I want to do something like keep y'all updated, see where we're going, because we trying to go see them, but the only thing is...
It's the visas. So because everything's shut down from COVID, he lost his visa, and I lost my social security card.
Yeah.
And they messed up on my
Birth
name,
certificate.
on my birth certificate. So I have to do a whole application to fix my name, for them to fix it. And then I have to go back and get the social security cards because all of them were together. So I need to get all of them for the kids and me. And then they have to do their part. And I don't know how that works over there.
Yeah.
But then it's like a whole thing because I brought up like, they're like, you never been to Mexico? And I was like, well, in United States, they mention a lot of the cartel problems over there.
Yeah.
And then they kind of were smiling before I said that. And when I mentioned the cartel, they kind of got serious. They kind of got sad, like, oh, yeah, true. And I was like, hold up. Like, so it is true? Like, so
But we're not
I
going to
don't
speak
know.
on them, though. We ain't going to.
Yeah.
We gotta leave it at that, but it's a little fear because when you go into a whole nother state where you know they do that on a constant level.
And it's not a state, it's a different country.
Yeah, different
so
country,
it's like,
yeah.
We
And
never been out of the country.
No.
And it's
especially over there.
nervous, especially different states is already, can be dangerous and we get anxiety and it's just tough to travel.
Yeah.
So imagine somewhere where we're crossing a border where if something goes wrong, if we drop our passport and we can't find it, like how are we supposed to get back?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
and we got to think about the funds as far as all of us, because I still got to pay off a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Vicky got to pay off a lot of things, dinner trip, and so it's a lot of planning, and we planning to move to Texas, so it's like a lot of planning and a lot of doing.
And then
stuff
it's like
that.
for me, it's like now it's nerve-wracking because
She want to see him.
I
back.
want to see the grandma. And I want the kids to see the grandma. And she's 83 years old. And it's like time's ticking. And now I'm just like stuck. Like, oh, I gotta bust my butt at work and pray that everyone comes to work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like every day now is gonna be, you know, like, oh, on my mind. Because I
and
need
of course,
to save.
she got me, so I'm most definitely gonna be helping her out with all the funds and stuff like that. But it's just gonna be, I mean, it's the more now says she really want to see them.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of every trip that I got planned. I think I'm gonna put that on hold. Except Texas, I want to move to Texas.
And what's kind of cool about Texas is if we do
right
move
there.
to Texas, we're closer.
Close,
So
12 hours away.
Maybe whoever does have their passports in that
come.
time can come
Yeah.
across and then can meet us somewhere or something like
Yeah.
that.
So yeah, that's like I told y'all, we got a major plan for 2022.
Because I'm still trying to do Kayla's quinceañera and all this, and it's just a lot.
It's a lot, but it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
You know, for
Day by day, but every day is just
Yeah.
like, oh, time's ticking. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So at least we got to see them, and they were happy. And then even the other kids, like the brothers and sisters, they were.
And they all gonna do a meeting on Sunday.
Yeah, we're
Where
doing
the
a
whole
FaceTime,
family, they
like
gonna get their whole family
everybody,
gathered,
so
all them together to talk to her. So
that's crazy.
that's
It's
gonna
like
be-
they all want to meet me.
yeah, Jean is very strong over there. All them got thick ass eyebrows.
And you
Sometimes
can't tell
it's-
because I be waxing mine.
Yeah.
This one's a little crooked. I should have went on this side. This one's better, but
But
they're super thick.
we found her, y'all crazy. We found her family, everything that we've been talking. Remember the live I deleted? That's what we was talking about on the live. I was trying to
For
find the guy.
real? I still be there. I'm like, why he deleted it? Sus.
So y'all
like
know.
Kayla says.
I've been trying to think, and I had to ask. I was like, once y'all said it on the live, like, Von, you need a last name or something at the same time. I'm like, damn. I gotta ask her because I was gonna try to surprise you with the DNA kit and all that, but it's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Being 30, I don't want to tell her age, but
over 30 years.
Over 30 something years, she haven't seen her father. She seen him, and it was.
And what's crazy is he's always been looking for me.
Yeah.
Like, what?
We got actually video clip. We could show like 2 minutes of the video clip.
God, oh no.
El otro día verás.
Yeah, de seguro. Ya los quiero ver.
Sí. A ver si el domingo, ¿no?
El domingo sí.
¿No trabajas?
El domingo tengo libre.
A ver si nos reúno para hablar contigo todos.
Sí. El sábado es mi cumpleaños.
Ah, bueno.
Yeah.
¿El 25?
Oh no, el 31, el 31.
Ah, 31, es que sí ya pasó. ¿El 31?
Sí.
¿Cuántos cumples, mija?
Voy a tener 36. Yeah, 36.
40. Ese me ponía aquí 40.
No. Yo le calculaba 37.
37, sí, so, yeah, 36. ¿O 36?
I think so.
36, se me olvida algunas veces. Después de los 30 ya acabé de contar. It's crazy. I'm still in shock. She wrote me a bunch of times. I gotta write it back. Okay, so she asked me, how do I feel? And I said, I've always prayed to God. I'm translating it, so it's kind of gonna sound like a robot, but okay. So I said I always pray to God, and I even cried to Him. Let me see. I'm trying not to cry. For an opportunity that one day we can meet each other, or at least give me a sign that I can on the right path to find you guys. Let's see. I can't, I'm gonna cry. Okay.
Shut the hell up, dog.
I can't, I'm gonna cry.
Might as well let it out.
I know I haven't cried since, so I haven't cried at all yet. So okay, let's see. Oh my God. So I said, I've always looked at others with their appearance, and I always smile, but in my heart, I always felt like something was missing. I always used to look at the sky, and I used to look at the stars, and I would stare at the moon, and I would always think that maybe as I look up in the sky, that you guys would look up at the sky at the same time, and we would have that small connection, and I would always embrace that moment every time I look at the sky. And she just kind of wrote me like, we looked for you for so long. My grandpa's last wish was to meet you. We all wanted to meet you. We looked for so many Victorias from all over. But it was so impossible. Thank you so much for contacting us. My father's so happy. He said today, my daughter, look at my daughter, and look at my niece and nephews, grandkids. Oh, my daughter, look at my daughter, and look at my grandkids. I want to hug you really tight. I'm so emotional, and I'm so excited to meet you. Hopefully we get to meet soon. I've always wanted to meet you. I've never had a sister. I only have brothers. And I used to suffer a lot. Because she said I used to suffer a lot because I always wanted to meet you and be with you. It's very special and beautiful that I got to meet you. Hopefully we get to meet each other soon.
Like, they don't got a family, like Sabi, Kayla, her. So it's that missing piece for them. So my family, we so close. So they see us, it's like that's something they urge for, that's something they want, and stuff like that. And I seen her in her from the beginning, and I always say that, like, that's that missing piece, you know. And since they came in life, different. Like, she's happy, smiling up, you know, that she always talking about it.
Yeah, because so. Bonnie used to, you know, you guys know about Bonnie and his dad. And then my kids, they're going through the same problem with their dad. And, you know, they have that love-hate relationship. Like, of course, they love their dad. You know, he loves his dad. They love their dad because that's their dad. But then sometimes they have that anger towards them. Like, why can't he be, like, the dad or a dad or stuff like that? And I even used to express, like, man, you guys are lucky. Like, you guys are so lucky. You guys know who your father is. You guys got to meet him. You guys seen a picture. You guys touched him. You guys hugged him. You guys got to see him in person. And I used to tell them, like, I'm going to pass away not ever knowing who my dad is. Like, that sucks. And I used to get sad, but I used to chalk it up like, that's just life. And that's why I used to pray, like, come on, man. I got to, like, time's ticking. Like, they're getting older. I used to see my mom, and she's getting older when, like, she had a head full of gray hair. I used to be like, man, I wonder if my dad's, like, got a head full of gray hair. Like, he's getting older. Like, what if by the time I do find him, he passes away? Like, oh my God, she's already, you know, getting sick, you know, diabetes, a lot of medical issues are coming down because of her age, and I'm just like, man, like, I need to find him, time's ticking, like, oh my God, and that's just crazy. And then what's more crazy is, today is the day of April Fools in Mexico. So out of all the days in the world, I contact them on April Fools. So they call it the Day of the Innocents. So that's in Spanish, so it's kind of different. But when she told me that, I'm not aware of all the traditions in Mexico. So, but my mom is. So she was like, oh, today's the Innocents Day. So when I told my dad that you contact us, he didn't believe me. And he was like, that's not funny. It's not a joke. You know, it's a bad joke. So I'm like, so what's the day of the end? What is that? And then she was like, oh, that's the day where everyone lies. And she was trying to explain it to me, and I was still lost. I'm like, what do you mean everyone lies? Like, I'm not lying. And then after that call, she's like, oh, okay. And then I called my mom and I was like, Mom, she said something about Day of the Innocents when everybody lies. And she's like, no, that's like April Fool's. Like today's April Fool's Day in Mexico. So she was like, yeah, that's crazy. Out of all days, I contact them or find them on April Fool's Day. I'm like, but it all worked out. So then after they FaceTimed me, you know, it was just me and him because the kids weren't here. And then the kids ended up coming. I already had ended the call with him. And then I was like, hey, you know, my kids just walked through the door. They're asking me 100 questions. You want to just jump on and say hi real quick? So he calls, and as soon as he calls, I didn't know that Kayla and Sabi had left to go throw the garbage out all the way outside. So now I'm on a FaceTime with him, and then there's a guy with him, and it happens to be my brother. So it's one of the brothers, and he's like, hi, you know, we drove all the way to meet you during lunch, and you didn't answer. And I was like, I'm so sorry. And he's like, it's okay. It's nice to meet you. And then the kids come, and then they see how, like, Sabi's height, he was taller than me, and the kids were like, hola. And then, and they're like, hola, da, 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 da. And the kids are like, Mom, I don't know what he said. I was like, oh my God, I failed. Like, I'm like, okay, well, I'll translate. So we're going to meet up Sunday and talk, and then hopefully everyone's there. And at first I wasn't going to record it or nothing, but my mom's like, you know, record it. Put it on the internet. Let people know. And give them awareness, like never to give up, because some people just want to give up. Like, you know what, it's hard. You know, just like they said they looked for 100 Victorias and they couldn't. It was impossible. All these Victorias, and they all have the last name is rare, but it's a lot of people with that last name. So they didn't know where to look for, what to look for, and they just still looked for it, and they never gave up. And if you're going through the same thing, don't give up. Try, like, it's crazy, and things do happen. And I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I never gave up. And it happened. It's just it's a miracle. Cause
She's on the camera.
That's crazy. Crying? What?
Now, but I hope you guys enjoyed the story. Stay tuned. We got a lot more to come.
We'll do a part 2 on the Sunday event, and then
if y'all want to see more, you know, about the situation or the story, you know, comment below.
Yeah. And give me some questions to ask. Like, I'm blinded by this. I didn't have, my mom told me, like, try to write stuff down, like questions you want to know, because it gets so emotional when you hurry up, pick up the phone, they're right there. Cause I was stuck. I was like, hi, so, how many are there? Like, I was stuck. So if you guys have any questions or any good idea questions that I can ask them, cause right now I can't think. So it's like, I have a million questions. I just don't know how to put them. So if you guys have any good questions, I can write it down, and then on Sunday, I can actually ask them and have everything organized where I could actually answer them when we do the part 2.
I'm actually going to drop this video tomorrow. I had a couple other videos. I have 4 videos I'm supposed to edit today. But I'm going to edit this one, premiere it tomorrow. And that way we get to see y'all in the chat. This is like almost an hour video. So thank y'all for being part of our family.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get, like, I think it's going to be good. It's going to be even better when we meet them. Sundays, like, we going to see the whole family.
The whole family.
So, y'all, and I always wanted that, like, a girl with a beautiful family, because I love my family, but at the same time, it's like, she ain't had no family, and I was like, damn, it's only us. But, you know, I always wanted to ask the dad, like, can I marry your daughter? Now I got that chance to ask her dad if I could marry him. Y'all know we claim we married. She really my fiance.
And then possibly get married and have him walk me down the aisle.
In Mexico. Viva Locas. Not Locas, but but subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, smack that like button. Thank you for watching, y'all. We got more to come. We see y'all next time. And after this, I'm dropping bangers after bangers after banger. I got 3 more videos coming out after this. I'm sorry I ain't been going live lately. With the New Year's here, we've been working a lot. But after the New Year, I got my new schedule, so you're going to see me more from Sunday to Wednesday. So stay tuned, y'all. We love y'all crazy.